again to discuss things.
Okay, hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Geeky Gentlemen. I am Sid Part 2, joining me today is the one and only Justin Cristelli, aka The Real Manos.
Howdy, folks.
Howdy. So, Manos, we're continuing our fan film reviews today, and you've chosen our fan film for review. What is it, sir?
It is the It fan film called Float.
Indeed. You know, it's funny, we've done an It fan film on here before. You wouldn't think there'd be that many fan films to make out of the It franchise, given that it's just, you know, one story. But hey, you know, they really make it work. The other one was more or less an adaptation of the, you know, famous scene with the sewer, and Pennywise in the sewer in Georgie and all that. This one is an original story that just treats Pennywise like a slasher villain, kind of.
Almost.
And I dig it. What do you think of this?
I thought it was okay. I found it somewhat disappointing in some regards.
Okay. Well, I'm curious then. What didn't work for you?
The four main actors. I thought they, unfortunately, were not very well written and developed as characters. There's some portions where they're just kind of mumbling to each other about stuff, and I really couldn't get a grasp of who they were. So to be honest, like when Pennywise starts showing up and killing them, I'm really not that worried. So I don't know. I think that unfortunately we spend so much time with them. They do kind of like, for me, drag down the story. On the other hand, I thought the actor playing Pennywise was quite good. I thought a lot of the shots and setups and scenes built around him were very nicely done. So to me, it's kind of a mixed bag.
Okay, well, it's interesting because I think it's fair to say that while these guys are not literally playing themselves, I think it's fair to say they're playing more or less exaggerated versions of themselves. Like, the main character, Farzam, the actor's name is Farzam. He's just kind of playing an exaggerated version of himself in this fictitious setting. There's no actor playing Pennywise. There are actors playing Pennywise. They have a behind-the-scenes video on the account, which I watched, and they're switching who's playing Pennywise at different times throughout the film.
Oh, that's cool. That's a really nice touch.
Yeah, and so I don't think it's that these guys can't act. I think they can ham up a character more than they can act on their own.
Well, I did like the performances. I guess now I thought it was one guy, but now I realize was it the actors who were playing the teenage dude bros playing Pennywise as well?
Yeah, I believe so. It's all of them kind of switching off from what I could tell. I mean, you know, people look kind of similar in clown makeup, but yeah, they, like, depending on the scene, one of them would be like, you notice how there's no scene where all four of them are on screen at the same time as Pennywise?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, it's because one of them's always Pennywise.
That's really good. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and so, like, I agree about their acting and their characters as the teenagers. The thing for me is it kind of makes me nostalgic, so I'm kind of with it more. Like, these guys are kind of obviously all in either high school or really early college film school kind of stuff. And, you know, they're just on screen, they're inside joking through dialogue, they're cursing every third word, and that's what I did in high school when I was making movies. That's what they are. It's it's like mine were much more cringy than this, so I gotta respect them for being able to pull it off a lot better, and it does feel to some degree natural. But yeah, like that aspect, I would agree, like on some kind of objective sense, that it's not very well handled and it doesn't tell much of a depth of character and story, and it lacks a level of immersion. But for me, it makes me so nostalgic that I kind of love it.
I can respect that. It's just I feel like it almost felt too natural. Like we're seeing scenes of the actors in between shots, just chilling, before we actually get to see actual scenes done. And this is a movie, so there is a certain level of drama that you have to add to their characters. And there is a moment where they get on their bikes and, they start riding around, and you're listening to the Red Hot Chili Peppers song. And I suppose that kind of invokes the recent film, but that could have been a nice period where we could have heard them talk to each other and get to know them a little bit better, outside of just them mumbling, douchebag, fuck you, you ate my pizza, don't be a pussy, to each other. And, there was really nothing about their characters that really kind of, look, I was a teenager too, and hung out with guys, and I don't know. I thought we were more clever.
You think that, but like you didn't film yourself, so you don't know the truth. You just get to like look back with rose-colored glasses. Is what it comes down to.
well, here's the thing. I would edit all the boring stuff out, and that's what they did not do.
Fair enough. No, well, I think your larger point, even aside from the acting, that is really valid, is there's no story here. It's just Pennywise stalking the kids and creeping them the fuck out, and then murdering them one by one.
This almost feels like an extra long pre-credit sequence.
Mm-hmm. Like, okay, so now that you say that, I know the perfect thing to compare it to. And it's going to sound like an insult, but it's not, because I think this was a brilliant decision in that film.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the Michael Bay remake of Friday the 13th.
Michael Bay's It.
Yeah, well, like, in Michael Bay's Friday the 13th, you get like a 10 to 15 minute opening sequence of the teenagers in the woods being, shitty teenagers, smoking weed and having sex. And Jason shows up and kills them off one by one. And then as he's about to go and kill the last girl, title. And then the actual movie starts. And so that's kind of what's going on here. It's stretched out over a half hour as opposed to 15 minutes. But still, it's a very similar thing of there's not really that much depth of story. It's just, okay, here's the archetype characters, the dude bro friends hanging out, and now they're going to get killed off one by one.
See, the problem is these guys aren't distinct from each other. They're all pretty much the same dude, bro. It looks like Pennywise has interrupted them from the fact maybe they were having meetings to, remake The Last Jedi, and then Pennywise comes up and kills them. So I don't know. It's, when you tell me they each play Pennywise, that's kind of startling, because they're very good in those roles as Pennywise.
To be fair, I'm not 100% on that. I just, from what I saw, it looked like they were trading off who was in the costume at different times.
Well, that's a cool idea.
I mean, it's one of those things. I don't really think it's much of a cool idea as much as it's probably a form of necessity. Just given that this is obviously a really low budget kind of fan film thing.
Well, no, I mean, you could have probably most likely have gotten the same guy. But, I mean, what I think is cool, whether it was done out of necessity or on purpose, is it does kind of distort, even if you're not aware, like I wasn't, even if you're not aware that it's different people playing him, your mind kind of, like, takes in the idea that, there's something off about this moment. There's something off about this guy. And that's something I like about horror characters or horror scenes. Like, if you can kind of subtly create some sort of weird distortion about what the viewer is watching. And I think that's, now that you tell me that, I really do like these scenes even more.
Okay. Well, let's talk about, we've been a little harsh on it, so I do want to talk about the stuff that I think really does work. And I gotta say, they really do a great job providing some good horror. I mean, it's pretty typical jump scare stuff, but, you know, for all the flack jump scares get, they are harder to pull off than people give them credit for. And it works really well here. I watched this with my wife, and she fell for just about every one. Like, you know it's coming. It still fucking works.
That's true. I guess I was most impressed by Pennywise's first appearance when Azid goes down and starts chasing the little leaflets, and I think he sees his own face on it before he sees Pennywise, and he just he's just there. That was, I thought that was really well timed.
Oh yeah, it's like, and you don't expect him to show up that early on in a fan film like this, so it functions so perfectly, and it's so creepy. And then there's like, yeah, it's more or less right out of the 2017 film, but it still works really well. Like when that balloon just shows up and pops in the dude's face and it gets blood all over him. Shit. It's scary.
I also rather enjoyed seeing the balloon in the pool, and I was oddly impressed by the way it was just in the pool. Like, I know these guys don't have that much of a budget. I thought that, I don't know what they filled the balloon with.
Water.
Oh, yeah, God, I'm dumb.
I got a little advantage on you, because I was curious too. I was like, it's probably just water, but there might be something in there. But no, I get a little advantage because I watched behind the scenes, and like he bites through the balloon after the shot to pop it, and water comes spilling out.
You and I have different styles. You watch the behind the scenes stuff. I prefer to not, and just let the fan film speak for itself. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if I should watch the behind the scenes stuff to get a better sense of it. But I've been trying to as a choice,
take them on their own. It's an interesting distinction, and part of the reason I do it is because sometimes we're stretching a little bit for stuff to talk about in these. And that's so true. If I can see something in behind the scenes that gives me something more to talk about for the podcast, and something that I wouldn't be able to be aware of if I didn't watch the behind the scenes, like, oh, this is how they did that. That's a really good technique. That's really, really smart work right there. I want to be able to congratulate them for it. Whereas I never watch behind the scenes stuff with like movies, professional studio movies I'm reviewing, because it's got every advantage it could possibly have. The piece is supposed to speak for itself.
I have stopped watching behind the scenes specials and footage and takes for big professional movies, because it's all the same fucking thing. It's like a guy in a black leotard with ping pong balls all over him. And that's it. And, there's, I don't know, a lot of the magic's kind of gone. I remember when, like, Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, they both premiered. Each time those films came out, there was, like, a network TV special, half-hour special of behind the scenes. And it was really cool. And, they kind of showed the magic of, how they put those films together and all the techniques. And they don't do those anymore because it's boring. It's really boring to watch a guy on the computer.
Yeah, to an extent. It's funny. I don't want to stay on this too long, but I will say, no one likes the Green Lantern movie except me. The behind the scenes for the Green Lantern movie is really fascinating because, like, they go into how they did they created animations and different kinds of fighting techniques and sound effects and everything for every member of the Green Lantern Corps that they showed in the movie, but they just didn't use that in the actual film. So anyway, back to the float fan film here.
Yes.
So no, I do like watching the behind the scenes on these fan films when it's available, just because their behind the scenes is mostly just a supercut with a couple of fade transitions to show, here's our shot on raw footage, here's our shot after we color corrected. And that's something that is just really stunning and shows a level of professionalism that I would not expect from, some of the content of the script in this fan film. They don't necessarily know how to write very well, but they definitely know how to direct and shoot, which is a big deal.
Exactly. That's actually the next point I wanted to make, because I have been mostly hard on this so far, barring talking about Pennywise. But I want to get into that. I think the filmmaking is really strong. The way shots are set up, and the way there's no confusing storytelling at all. It's all really well done and well shot. And the incorporation of music, I think, is really nicely done. These guys, I think these guys, I think they might have a future filmmaking, because there's a lot of good storytelling in this short film.
No, it is. It's a very well shot, very well edited, and really, really just, God, I love digital filmmaking. Fuck classic celluloid film. Digital's the way to go. It's the way of the future. I love you, Quentin Tarantino.
Eat a dick,
yeah.
Old film.
Yeah, I love you, Quentin Tarantino, but no, Rodriguez has you beat on this one. Digital filmmaking's the way of the future, because just the amount you can do with color grading can make it just look so fucking beautiful. And this really shows it. It's a lot of really basic stuff, but like the underwater scene when he's swimming in the pool, it looks gorgeous. I mean, I would maybe say you probably should have cleaned your pool out first, but still, like, it looks really, really good. It looks like professional quality stuff. They just do such a good job filming it. The biggest letdown on this from the production side is the audio, which is unfortunate. And to be fair, I think they're kind of aware of that. But even then, at the same time, the dialogue of the story don't really matter. It's all just about Pennywise being fucking creepy. And you know what? I hear every word Pennywise says, so
yeah,
it works.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Technically they did have mic problems, but that's probably maybe why they didn't focus too much on like any strong discussion scenes. So yeah, that's the only technical thing I could really kind of complain about. I don't know, complain, but just criticism anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like the audio's definitely not good as far as the dialogue goes. I'd throw my money in the ring here. I'll bet you a quarter that this was edited using headphones for the sound mixing. I can almost always tell that. I always go to this, and longtime listeners of the show have probably gotten tired of me talking about it. My TV is ridiculously fucking loud. Like, if I put the volume on 2, I can hear it from pretty much anywhere in my apartment. It's ridiculous. I had to turn the volume up to like the low 60s to be able to hear any of the dialogue in this. And then when music and sound effects started to play, it was like blasting.
Yeah, it was very inconsistent.
Yeah, so like that's when you can usually tell, because the music and the sound effects have a lot more bass to them, and those don't always come through on a pair of headphones, depending on the quality of your headphones, of course. Whereas the dialogue, I mean, you just think about the physics of this. The audio source is right next to your ear. It doesn't take much to be able to hear someone talking, hence why people listen to podcasts like this one on headphones. But when you're mixing audio, when you're editing audio and stuff, it's fine. You don't have to use headphones, or you don't have to use speakers when you're just mixing the audio and editing everything. When you do your final levels for volume, do it on speakers. I always say that to people who are making films. And since these guys obviously want to continue to make films because they've got a great talent for it, I feel that's something I wanted to make sure I talked about is, please, if you're not already, maybe I'm wrong, maybe you just had bad mics, I don't know. If you're not already, do your final levels with speakers, not headphones. Always recommend that one. Anyway, so yeah, that aside, God, the filmmaking here is just absolutely stunning. I really, really do love the way this is shot. Like, I mean, not just the color grading, though that's the thing that I think impresses me the most, since I'm pretty sure they shot all this on a GoPro. They do a great job of location scouting. Like, yeah, I mean, it's the big section of this is in the woods and in the park, but like when Pennywise shows up first in that like little creek drainage area, it's so perfectly. It looks just like the sewers. When they're running through the woods and they get separated, and the one kid who's afraid of water has to run through a river and eventually has to swim through it. God, it looks like, professional studios scouting was done here. They had a really great eye for where they're doing, or they just live in an area that is very naturally scenic. Either way, they do a great job.
That might be it. Some of the shooting, some of the sites actually reminded me of another It. It reminded me of It Follows a little bit. And the residential kind of setting of this film, and the way he was always kind of there following them. It did make me think of that film a couple more times than It, actually. Which to me is like high praise. I really like that film.
Yeah. No, they do a really good job in all the filmmaking side of this. I would say focus a little more on the story next time. But ultimately, I don't know, there's that part of watching horror where you kind of just want to watch some teenagers get murdered, I feel like that as a horror fan, you just kind of like, you get in the mood for that every so often. And that really worked for me here. So I was totally fine with the story being the lowest aspect of this, as long as, the Pennywise and the kills and the creep factor was really high. Want to talk a little bit about Pennywise? I think they did a reasonably good job on costuming. I think the boots and pants are a little off underneath all of the stuff, but you don't see as much of it, so it's not a problem. I think the biggest problem I have with Pennywise is the bald cap attaching to the actors' faces. Because you can really start to see it peeling away in a lot of the close-ups, and yeah, that's just, there's like literally months worth of makeup tutorials on YouTube to show you how to do that better. Even if you don't have the experience, I can't help but feel like, getting someone who knows how to do that around shouldn't be that difficult, especially with makeup tutorials. Practice makes perfect, all that stuff.
Yeah, especially when you're talking about, your main lead here is that thing. So you need to really kind of make sure your A game's on that specific point. Outside of that glitch, I really did like the teeth looked pretty good.
Oh yeah, when they put in the dentures, prosthetics, whatever it is. God, those get creepy.
Yeah, and they were obviously mimicking the recent film version of that It, and he almost looks like the exact thing. It's really nicely done. And I just like some of the shots, like when he like shows up in disguise as, I think, Fazid's mother at the end. You know what? I really like that a lot. That was nice and creepy. I actually, it was so creepy, I wished there was a shot of his mother at the beginning, very much similar to that.
Oh yeah, that would have been good.
Like, if that could be maybe set up and then pay off at the end when he's there doing the same exact thing as her. Because, it might have been nice to, use some of that time in the beginning to, give us like briefest of intros to the parents. So we could kind of pay that off a little bit more at the end. But otherwise, man, I mean, the way he turns around, like the shot from his back where he's going, "Mom, Dad's dead." It's like, hey, man, that's very obviously immortal murdering monster.
Yeah, that's good. What I like about that is just the hopelessness of it. You know, that's the real horror right there.
Yeah.
So many horror movies go out of their way to do the heroic ending or whatever, and it's fine, but I don't know. I love a good hopeless horror ending, you know? I grew up on a lot of Tales from the Crypt for horror, and that's always got the really hopeless endings, and I love them. So just stuff like that, where he knows he's completely powerless, and he's just paralyzed as to what to do now, so he just kind of stops running and backs away into the corner and just kind of tries to make it stop. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Although I think since the 70s, I think hopeless horror endings I think that's more common than happy endings. Especially with slasher movies.
I don't know, it depends, because usually they try to give you both, where like they'll do the heroic ending, but then it's the fake out and the killer comes back right at the end or something.
Yeah, I've grown to hate those.
Yeah, so like this is
how many times have you sat with a horror movie and you're going, okay, have him come back. Okay, have him come back. Oh, he's back. Ooh, that's scary.
Yeah, like, so I guess like that could technically be considered a hopeless ending, but I don't know. The true hopeless ending is there's no hope, right? That's what it means. And so this has that, and I really, really like it.
Oh yeah, it definitely has that type of ending. What Stephen Colbert would say is "fuck you, you're gonna die." Ending.
I've not heard that one before.
Well, actually, to be honest, he used that to describe the beginning of one of Neil Gaiman's books. The Cemetery Club, I think it's called.
Interesting.
Where it's his young adult book, and it starts out literally the first scene of Neil Gaiman's young adult book is the murder of the hero's parents.
Lovely.
Yes, it's great.
Okay. Well, I'm about tapped on stuff to talk about with this one, so you want to go ahead and go on to ratings, or did you have anything else?
No, I think we pretty much covered everything. Yeah, I had some mixed feelings about this. I was really excited that they did their own version of it. It was mostly fun, particularly with Pennywise. I didn't know until you just told me that other actors had played him in the same film, so I thought that was a cool little kind of trick to play on the audience. It really does come across well. It's very well shot. My only criticisms are the teenage boys are terribly underwritten to the point of just wasting time on film. Other than that, I'd probably give it a solid 3 out of 5 delicious pizzas.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think that they're underwritten, but it just works for me on a nostalgic level, which I think, if we're being fair, it's supposed to capitalize on anyway. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and agree with you, though. A 3 out of 5 red balloons ominously floating in the water.
3 out of 5 red balloons.
Thank you, Manos. All right. Well, next week I'm very excited about this. We're talking about something brand spanking new. It just came out this week as of recording, so it'll only be 2 weeks old by the time we get to it. And that is the first full episode of the original manga dub audio drama Dragon Ball R&R.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep, by Masako X from, of course, Dragon Ball Z Abridged fame. So, should be a fun time. I hope to see all of you there. Until next time, though, I'm the Philosopher.
And I'm the Realist.
And we are your geeky gentlemen. And we will be discussing things.